Yeah, we were evacuated, and we were actually in a soccer party. We were having a soccer party, and there's an announcement, and it said, if you're in Sunnyside, go home and evacuate. And my mom started, shoving stuff everywhere, trying to get everything, up high.
Probably the worst thing was about how many things people lost and all the things that, things that have been in their family for generations and, a piano or something got flooded and wrecked, and also that you were not safe in your home and you're supposed to be. So just like that easily it can be taken away. My dad was on a bike ride while the flood kind of started happening, so we were starting to pack up, and we were really worried that my dad wouldn't be home in time for us to leave and he wouldn't know where we were. So we just started packing. We're like, okay, if he doesn't come, we're just gonna have to leave. But he came, and then we were watching the news, and it just said that we had to be evacuated. It was in the middle of the night, and everyone on our street was just piling into the streets and just leaving, and it was kind of scary.
We had the cat in the cat carrier. We were walking, and we were in our yard, and the water was already up to our knees. So we were like, we have to take the chickens. So we took the cat out of the cat carrier, and I held him, and we put the 3 of the chickens into the cat carrier, and we went to our cars. So my cat was actually surprisingly calm, and he just sat in my arms. I think he knew something was up. My sister was bawling, and I was close to crying, and my stepmom was close to crying. So we took our smaller car, and my dad took our Volkswagen van, and we drove up to my mom's house, and there were a whole bunch of, everyone started crying, and it was just crazy, and it was raining, downpouring.
My friend, she called me and said that the river is rising and they think it's gonna flood. And then I looked out my balcony and I saw that the river was rising and it had already gotten up onto a memorial, and it was creeping down our street. And so after 5 minutes, the police came and they were knocking on doors, and the alarm and everything was going off, and we walked out, and my mom was just talking to an old friend that she bumped into because he lived in the area and he was evacuating. So they started talking, and I got really upset because I could already see it coming down our alleyway, coming down Memorial, and we live right next to Memorial. So it was really, really close, and so I got upset and started yelling at her and telling her that I wanted her to hurry up so we could go, because I could already see the traffic, and the river was really scaring me. And so we got in, and we started driving, and I felt that we were never going to get out of traffic, and that sooner or later the river, by the time that we got out, that the river would have gotten to us already. And my friend, when I was talking to her, invited to go to her house and stay for the night and a bit, because we really haven't planned out anything yet. And so we went and stayed at her house, and we slept in the living room, and I remember watching the news and watching this one clip that they played over and over and over again. It was a house floating down the river, and then it crashed into a bridge, and it really worried me. And it was in high river, so I knew that it was getting closer and everything.
It felt weird because I wanted to go and do these things and help, but you can't help when there's water. Just feeling it's just really sad and really scary.
I think the bad things about the flood were that driving down what used to be a normal road and then driving down and seeing everybody's basements on their front lawn.
The worst part is probably about all the stuff that we lost, because the whole entire apartment probably lost about 3/4 of all the stuff we had. So we lost a lot of stuff.
I kind of felt a little uneasy about it because we didn't get affected, but people around us got affected, so I wanted to help them, but I kind of wanted to help everybody, but I couldn't. I could only help one house at a time.
I think the best thing was how our community was brought together and how we now we're all prepared for if there's another big disaster comes, we know how to handle it by working together.
Well, before the flood, there were a lot of people in my neighborhood or in other neighborhoods that didn't really talk to each other or anything. But now after the flood, I see everybody, working together. And on my way to school, I see people saying hi, people that I've never spoken to before.